morning, and welcome to day 17 of our study of the first advent of Jesus Christ. My name is Stuart Wallace, and I'm the Bible teacher at Stuart Wallace Ministries on Facebook and YouTube. And today is an exciting day because we are now going to begin looking at the fulfillment portion of our study. And for the past 16 days, we have looked at 18 prophecies that spoke of the coming Messiah. And these 18 prophecies that we looked at are he would be the seed of the woman, Genesis 3:15. He would come from the line of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah, Jesse, and finally David. He would have a forerunner. He would be born of a virgin. We learned that in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. He would be called Lord, or Yahweh, Jeremiah tells us. He would be called Emmanuel, God with us. He would be born in Bethlehem. Sadly, he would be rejected, but in God's grand plan, his rejection led to him being a light to the nations. Again, a star would rise, and kings would bring gifts. He would live in Egypt for a period of time, and yesterday we looked at mothers mourning over the death of their children, which we'll talk about in a few weeks. But tomorrow we'll actually begin examining the fulfillment. But before we do that, I just want us all to understand what these prophecies mean, what Jesus Christ fulfilling these prophecies really mean. We looked at these 18 prophecies. There are 60 major Messianic prophecies. We can't look at all of them. Several years back, a scientist named Peter Stoner estimated that the likelihood of 8 prophecies being fulfilled by one person at 1 in 100,000 trillion. I don't even know what that means. I have no way of disputing these numbers. But what we have to understand is that it would be amazing for one person to fulfill just one of these. I mean, being born of a virgin would be quite an achievement. Now these one of the reasons that people deny Jesus Christ, well, there are several reasons, but one of the reasons is that they don't want to be held accountable. They like living in their sin, or they don't want to live by the set of norms and standards that God lays forth in Scripture. The Bible tells us that we will all, believer or unbeliever, will stand before the righteous judge of Jesus Christ. The believer stands before Jesus Christ at the judgment seat of Christ. The unbeliever stands before him at the great white throne judgment, as the book of Revelation tells us. Maybe we'll do a study of that someday. But to deny the biblical truth of Jesus Christ being the promised Messiah is just to deny a mountain of evidence. Another reason that people deny Jesus Christ being the fulfillment is that they'll argue that these prophecies were written later, after the fact, in order to bolster the Jesus movement and to give some credence to the disciples. Now that's really a silly argument as well. The scroll of Isaiah was discovered in 1948 in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the book of Isaiah obviously dates back to pre-Christ times, and many of our prophecies that we looked at came from the book of Isaiah. Another very weak argument to deny Messianic prophecy is to say that they are self-fulfilling. Well, that doesn't really make any sense either. Can you choose the family line that you're going to be born from? Can you be born of a virgin? Can you make a star appear in the sky for kings to follow? So that's kind of a silly argument as well. Jesus Christ himself spoke of why he came to this earth. He came to fulfill all that was written about him in the Old Testament scriptures. Now I'm going to give you some verses to read tonight, but I do want to read this one in Luke chapter 24, verse 44. It says, "Now he said to him, or to them, 'These are my words, which I spoke to you while I was still with you, that all things which are written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled.'" So Jesus cites the whole of Old Testament Scripture as what he must fulfill. The law of Moses refers to the 5 books of the Old Testament, the 5 books of Moses. The prophets are called the book of the section of the Nevi'im in the Old Testament scriptures, and the Psalms are called the Ketuvim. So these 3 divisions make up the entirety of the Old Testament scriptures, called the Tanakh. But Christmas is so much more than just a time of giving gifts and receiving gifts. These things are fun, and the traditions that we all have make this time of year so special. But remember that the Messiah came into the world to reconcile man back to God and to take care of the separation caused by sin. The Christmas gift is the free offer of salvation that we all have available to us in the person of Jesus Christ. Ephesians 2:8 and 9 says, For by grace you have been saved through faith, and not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no one may boast. All we have to do is believe in Jesus Christ, and we receive the greatest gift there is, reconciliation back to God. Now, tonight's reading, there are several just single verses here that you can write down and read if you like. Tomorrow we're going to begin examining how Jesus Christ, He is the promised seed, and now we're going to begin examining how He fulfilled the family line. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. So thank you again for watching. If you've missed any, go back and take a look at the ones you've missed. So until tomorrow, be blessed, and thank you for watching.